You can feel the exceptional strength that side, and you can't feel English-based players. A bit unfair, maybe, also the matter of it is what it is.
Yeah, Nathan, I think it is what it is. You know, we knew when, and we knew when we organised this game that it's going to be outside of the Test match window, and the players knew it, and we also know. Well, we feel. I think if you look at the development of the squad over this year, and you look at the growth of some of the players coming into the mix, and us developing succession planning in positions. I think we always saw this test match as an opportunity to get some of the younger players involved, or let's call them less experienced players. So I think it's a great opportunity for them, and from our side, we're quite looking forward to see how they perform in this big test match. And that's why for us, I know England obviously have this relationship with their clubs, and they can have all their players, but for us, we can't have the French-based players or the Irish-based players or the English-based players. But it is what it is, and like I say, it's good for us. We still feel that we can get a team out there that's good enough to compete.
Mubin?
Hi, good afternoon, Job. Good afternoon, Evan. Just a quick question, Job. Just we saw Mani Lobo obviously come on last week, and he performed really well. Were you guys attempted to sort of give him an opportunity to start the Saturday? And then, just Job, you obviously played England the last two games at Twickenham, 2018 and 2021. Both games were obviously lost, very close games. You guys use as extra motivation for this weekend, knowing that you haven't won the last two occasions. Thanks.
Okay, so the first one was on Marnie. Yeah, no, listen, Marnie is going from strength to strength in the squad. I think he's only been with us now for 8 weeks, and you can see how he's taking more ownership and more ownership, in terms of the rugby stuff, and on field, off field, and we're really excited to see what he can do at Twickenham, and the game's getting bigger and bigger and more pressure, and there's I think, I don't know how the ticket sales went, but I think there will be a fair amount of people at Twickenham, and it will be similar to what we experienced in Marseille, and I think it's good for his development, and it's nice for us to have him with us. Were we tempted? Yeah, I think Damien is doing well at 10, and he's driving the team forward. And again, he only started, I would say, after about 5 games, 5 test matches in this year, start settling at a 10. So he's also getting lucky experience playing at 10. We know that he can do it for us at 12 and at 15. So yeah, no, it's nice to have the two of them. And then in terms of the other part was, extra motivation. Yes, no, I won't say extra motivation. I mean, we know that playing against England at Twickenham is always a big challenge, and like you rightly say, the past 2 occasions that I've been involved, or we've been involved against England, I think it was 1-point affairs. But yes, I mean, it's always a motivation for us to perform against England, and everyone on tour, for us. Obviously, we had 2 narrow losses against Ireland and against the French. We got a victory against Italy, and for us, and I guess for England the same. It would be both teams would like to get a victory on Saturday. So I won't say it's extra motivation. I think both teams will be motivated to get a result on Saturday.
Sanile?
Thank you so much, Zina. Good morning, or good afternoon, Jacques. Good afternoon, Evan. My question is to you, Jacques. With everything that has been happening on the tour, right? You guys have been there for a while. Out of all the boxes that you and the coaching staff wanted to tick, how many of those boxes would you say have been ticked with everything that's been happening on the tour when it comes to all the on-field stuff? And how many of the boxes still have to be ticked, if you can try and sum that up?
Yes, I think, like Rassie mentioned it often. Listen, I don't think people want to know that we're getting answers, but I think that is the thing of this tour, and especially this game where we play this test match out of the the window. We will get and the SAA games. We wanted to see certain players play with the Springbok on their chest. Although it is against clubs, but you play for your country, so there's a little bit more pressure, and we wanted some answers on certain players, and I think we got some answers on certain players, and the same on Saturday, and even on field, if you look at, we always want to try and improve and develop and try and build our game in all the aspects, and obviously we're trying stuff, and just like all the other teams are trying, and I think. If you look at us, I think, although we had 2 narrow losses against the number 1 and 2 team in the world away from home, I think, if I have to be quite honest, I think we certainly internally know that I don't think we far off in being contenders for the World Cup next year, and I think the world knows that we're not far off. I think. We're still building, and we're still trying to get some results and get some answers in certain aspects. But I think we certainly believe and know that we're not far off being contenders, and I think the world knows that as well.
Percy?
Zina, soos altyd baie dankie. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Coach, Jacques, ek aanvaar en ek glo jy gaan jou span opsom vir my Afrikaans. Ek wil spesifiek vra oor die laaste tyd was 'n baie vraag gewees rondom 'n ervare wêreldbeker wenner soos Makazole Mapimpi meneer. Ek wil glo afloop Jacques Nienaber vir geen twyfel oor Makazole Mapimpi sy ervaring of sy vermoëns in die Springbok span nie. En hy ewen 'n goeie grondvoorbeeld vir jou wees om in die beginspan te wees. Jacques, gooi jou 'n bietjie in die diepkant hierdie naweek teen die Engelse span wat ook desperaat sal wees om die Springbok op punt te wil wees. Kyk eens hoe is dit,
Percy, ja, nee, ek dink, en daar het 'n paar vrae gekom oor antwoorde wat ons soek, en met die SA's van wedstryde wat ons gespeel het en met die toetse wat ons nou gespeel het. Ek dink Makazole en soos laas naweek, as jy dink na ou soos Eben wat ons op die bank gesit het, ou soos Salman wat ons kans gegee het, ons het nou weer vir Kurtley, vir Keinan in die span, jy weet, en so ek dink ons het ek wil dit nie irritasie noem nie, maar ons het probeer om spelers ondervinding te gee op die hoogste vlak waar ons kon. Ek dink dit is baie keer moeilik. Ek dink soos as mens kyk nou na Evan, jy weet Evan, ons praat nie eens van 'n ou soos Dwayne wat ons nie op hierdie toer gebring het nie, maar as jy vat daar's Dwayne, daar's 'n Jasper, jy weet ons het Kwagga daar gespeel in Brits en hier's 'n Leeuws. So baie keer is daar maar net daar's maar net 'n klomp ouens wat voor jou is, en dis hoekom 'n ou soos hy nie baie speelkans gekry het nie. Dis nie omdat hy nie goed genoeg is nie, jy weet. Maar daar is 'n paar ouens wat al bietjie meer ervaring het op hierdie vlak en wat miskien in die pecking order voor hom is en voor van die ander ouens, en dis waar ou soos Makazole, jy weet, hy weet wat ons probeer regkry het, in terme van Willie en veral teen die spanne wat ons gespeel het, die strategie wat ons gehad het, en om bietjie ondervinding in 'n ou soos Kurtley, onder Kurtley in te kry, jy weet, en ek moet sê, dis hoe tight die groep is, jy weet. Ons kan veranderinge soos dit maak sonder dat dit die spelers affekteer, jy weet. Hulle obviously 'n ou is teleurgestel as jy nie gekies word nie, maar jy kom vinnig daaroor en jy begin die span voorberei. So ek dink, ja, obviously ou soos Makazole, ons weet wat se kwaliteit ons het in hom, maar ons het bietjie diepte gebou as mens kyk na 'n Keinan wat begin ontwikkel, 'n ou soos Kurtley wat begin ontwikkel, dan jy nog vir Cheslin daar. Ons praat nie eers van Sabu wat beseer is nie, Fassie wat nou beseer is. So daar's lekker diepte nou veral in daai posisie.
Ewan.
Thanks, Percy. Ja, soos jy sê, diepkant, maar dis lekker. Ek dink is 'n groot geleentheid om te kan rugby speel en baie bly dat die coaches my kans gee en ek sien net meer uit. Ek dink is een van die lekkerste plekke dink ek om rugbywedstryd te speel, so ek is meer opgewonde as enigiets anders.
Adnan?
Thanks, Zina. Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Thanks, Zina. As Jacques and Evan.
Hey, Adnan.
Ik wil Jacques en misschien Afrikaans vrij. Net hoe je bank, ik lees op je bank. Ik zie, dat is niet een slot op je bank gekies. Ik wil net jouw mening daarover
En dan vir Ewan net sy geluk met jou insluiting en net hoe jy dink dit gaan jy gaan vaar teen nou soos vaar soos Billy Paulo.
Ja, in terme van slot, jy's reg Mobien, maar ek dink Franco Mostert. Sorry Adnan, sorry man. Ja, ek dink as 'n ou kyk na Franco Mostert. Franco Mostert is altyd ons ou wat vir ons kan 7 speel en wat vir ons kan 5 speel en 4 speel as hy moet. En dan uit die aard van die saak, ons het twee losvoorspelers daar wat ons al voorheen ook gedoen het in die span. In vorige spanne wat ons gekies het en ons dink maar dit is wat ons die kombinasie wat ons gaan nodig het teen Engeland, veral aan die einde van die wedstryd. En ja, jy weet ons is en weer eens ons is daar's 'n hele paar, ek dink julle kan self die somme gaan maak as jy gaan kyk wie almal uit is. Ek dink as jy kyk na ou soos RG wat nie beskikbaar is nie, as jy kyk na ou soos Loot wat beseer is, jy weet dit is twee ervare 5 slotte wat ons verloor het en maar ons is gelukkig met die groep wat ons hier het en ja, maar ons Franco Mostert sal vir ons instaan wat ons backup 5 is. Ek weet hy begin op 7, maar hy is ons backup slot.
Ja, ek sien baie uit. En ja, soos ek sê, Billy is 'n baie goeie speler, goeie kwaliteitsspeler, so gaan lekker wees om teen so ou te speel en myself te kan meet.
Guys, we'll take the last question online before we switch to the floor, and that would be Mike.
Hey guys, just a quick couple if that's okay. Just wondered what you made of England this autumn, if they're stronger or weaker than the team you faced last year, and Rassie's ban as well. Has that affected the mood in the camp or your preparations logistically for the week?
Firstly, in England, yes, England's a quality side, well coached, and I mean, if you look at their results, I know one will look at the Argentina result, but if you look at the result against Japan, and if you look at their result against New Zealand, I mean, they're a team that don't go away. I think they got themselves back into the game with less than 7 or 8 minutes to go. And I think if you look at even the results that went against them, I'm thinking now Australian result, I'm thinking the Argentina result, those games were close, and a decision here or there or opportunity taken here or there could have changed the result. So no, I think they're a quality side, and there's been a lot of development in their game, and yeah, it's going to be a nice challenge for us, and we quite looking forward to it. In terms of Rassie's ban, no, listen, from our side, we focus on rugby, and I guess there will probably be a lot of questions about the ban. And for me as a coach, yes, I don't want to go into those things. I probably focus on rugby more than not. But yeah, for us, that's a tight-knit unit and a tight-knit team. And even I mean, everybody knows exactly what's going on. We're open and transparent to everybody. And for us, that probably holds, that knows all the facts, It's sometimes, for us, if it's I don't want to say disappointing, what would the right word be? It's sometimes for us, maybe disappointing is the right word, when there's only certain facts that go out, and then people from the outside will, which is right, which obviously they only have those facts available. They form an opinion and give an opinion on something that happened, and obviously they don't know all the facts. So yeah, it is quite sad that if you think about it, that I think if all the facts are out there, that people probably will form a different opinion. But like I rightly say, I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. I don't want to get involved in this. But for us as a group, players, management, staff members within the Springbok team, we know about everything. We're transparent. We share everything with the players, and we know all the facts. And unfortunately, yes, things went that way. But for us, the main thing is to focus on the rugby and to make sure that we prepare our players mentally to be ready for a big test against England on Saturday.
Cool, guys. That's the online questions. We'll now take questions from the floor.
What facts are we missing, Jack, on the Rassie situation?
I think it probably will come out. You know, we're not allowed. There's a lot of confidentiality that we're not allowed to talk about, especially with media. So I think obviously you guys would know that I'm not the only coach that would say that, but Eddie said that before. That listen, it's stuff we can't discuss. You know, so unfortunately it is what it is. But we know the facts. I mean, we share it with the players, we share it with everyone within the group, but. Yeah, there will only be a certain amount of facts that do go out.
Are you concerned though that the view of the Springboks outside the camp is diminishing because of this, and your reputation is suffering because of the?
No, again, that we know what happens within us. I mean, we can't control narratives of other people's opinion about us. We can't control it. So whatever people think about us, they think about us. But we know what happens inside and how we are and how tight we are as a group. That's all we can control.
Guys, can I just ask, this is a team announcement press conference, it's not a Rassie press conference. I
important
think Jacques
story,
has
though,
asked
we need
enough
to talk
about
about
that. We've got 30 minutes, can we get to the rugby stuff, please?
Just to understand, Jacques, when you say facts you can't discuss, you're talking about facts about refereeing decisions specifically? Is that what you mean? The ins and outs of those?
No, just terms of development of where our game is going, you know, terms of certain skill sets that we develop, that we are trying to develop and stuff like that. So no, not referee stuff, rugby stuff, technical, fundamental stuff, gameplay.
Can you just give a bit of insight into how involved Rassie's been this week and what you miss when he's not at a match?
Yes, Rassie, during the week, it's as per normal. I mean, he can be with us. It's just that he's banned from match days. So obviously, the roles and responsibilities that he fulfill in match day, we just absorb within us, like we did for a year.
Can you, sir?
Joe says that the world knows that you're not far off. You yourselves know you're not far off. What are the bits that you have to make up to get to where you want to be?
Yes, I don't want to go into too much detail in terms of that, but obviously, I think we know. I think it would be unfair to the team to give that away. I think there's a little bit of growth that needs to happen in almost everything. That's probably the cliche answer. But I don't want to go into specifics on that. But I think we're building nicely. We need consistency. That's probably the big thing that we have to develop, which is to be more consistent in terms of our performances, and to probably that consistency.
Can you give us any specifics as far as the developments you've seen with England, not maybe over the whole World Cup cycle so far, what they've been trying to kind of develop, maybe in the same way that you guys have?
I think they will probably also look for consistency. I think if you look at their results, it's also a point here, a point there. You need to, and probably for us as well, you know, when you get big opportunities, you need to nail them down. And I think, there's a couple of opportunities they had on the weekend which they didn't nail down, which could have had a different result. And same with us, you know, we had a couple of opportunities against France and against Ireland, which we didn't nail down, especially against Ireland. We created a lot. And the disappointing part is when that big point do come, you need to nail it. And we didn't nail it. Ireland did nail it, you know, and France did nail it. When they need to get a result in the last 4 minutes of the game, they got it. And I think that's probably the consistency I'm talking about, playing big points well, or big passages or episodes in the game well, and be more consistent in nailing them, you know, yeah.
Sure. Would you mind talking about globally where the game is at the moment? I know Eddie talks a lot about this next World Cup being one with a much higher ball in play than maybe 4 years ago. How do you see the overall look of the game 4 years on from Japan, and what you expect France to look like next year? Not yes. France as a team.
The World Cup. Yes, I think it probably differs from the team that you play against. Sometimes when you play a team with who doesn't keep the ball in hand a lot and kick a lot, you get higher ball in play time, because I mean, if there's 80 kicks and let's say a kick hangs in the air for 6-7 seconds, I mean, if you add all those seconds up, 80 kicks, it's a lot of seconds, you know. So sometimes ball in play doesn't mean ball in hand. Sometimes the ball is in the air and nobody can make an error. So sometimes when teams attack and are quite having a go at each other with ball in hand, ball in play time is 31, 32 minutes. Where teams play kicking game and it's at this tennis game for territory, you might get a game that blow up to 38, 39 minutes. But I do think the speed of the game will be quicker, ball in hand. But it depends what the opposition does and what your strategy is.
Yeah. Do you like where the game is at the moment? If we're selling it to a bigger audience that the World Cup will provide us next year, do we like the product at the moment? Do you think?
I think I like the product in terms of how tight it is. I mean, Georgia got a result. Argentina beat England. Argentina beat New Zealand away from home. So I think the product and what World Rugby has done to get, I don't want to call them tier 2 nations anymore, but you know what I'm talking about. I think the gap there between the top 8 to 10 teams in the world and the rest of the world is a lot tighter, you know, and anybody can literally beat anybody on any given day. So I think for a wider audience, that's quite exciting, you know. So I think the competitiveness between the unions, for me, is a challenge. So even when we played Italy last weekend, I mean, it's not a game that you go in. 10 years ago, that would have been a rotational squad and getting an easy result. No, listen, you got to knuckle down and perform like Italy showed against Wales. And now Georgia, the same thing, you know. Georgia did it against Italy in June, and now Georgia showed that they can do against Wales. So I think that's quite exciting.
Jacques, what triggered the adoption of a more attacking style of rugby that the Boks played against Italy and France?
I think, Hendrik, I think that what you get presented with. So we obviously felt that there was opportunity in the front line to keep ball in hand. I think all teams want to apply pressure on opposition, and you can do it through your defense, you can do the ball in hand, or you can do it through your kicking game. So so it probably depends where you feel you can apply pressure. And sometimes it's something that you're good at, and sometimes it's something where you think the opposition is maybe you see opportunity on that side. I won't say not good at, because I think at this level, like we rightly mentioned now, with the nations getting better and better, I don't think there's weaknesses in the top 15 teams. You know, it's just if you see opportunity where you can apply pressure, and we felt that we can apply pressure with ball in hand, and so I think that's probably another question. I think that gentleman asked, where do we want to develop? I think is to have a more balanced approach in terms of applying pressure on opposition, not just through a defense, of not just through set pieces. So to almost try get the continuity, not continuity, the balance right, and the consistency in terms of varying your game in terms of that.
Did you expect the players to adapt so quickly, and how important is Willie Leroux to this game plan?
I know. Look, the funny thing is I think the players, especially the players, got more. If you think where we started against Wales, we started with the second test match against Wales. We started with we made like 18 changes. So I think the group now, the established players are comfortable with it. If you think what we did in the World Cup final versus what we did against Wales in the semi-final, I think it's we could adapt with that group of players. It was easy to change small little tweaks within your game plan, and they could adapt and apply pressure differently. I think what we did in 2021, we kept consistency, because we didn't play any rugby in 2020 due to COVID, and in 2022, our big aim was to get growth within the squad. In terms of and get more players involved and get a squad depth within the squad and experience in that squad depth. So obviously, when new players come in, they quite how can I say, the scope of because they play for their country, because when they look down, they're playing for a nation, you know. So the pressure is a little bit more than for their league, where they're probably a little bit more comfortable. So their scope of trying to look for opportunities is probably a little bit different, and they get adapting to the pace of the game, that there isn't weak defenders. So the game is a little bit different. So I think this group is now getting comfortable with the pace of the game, getting comfortable that there's a wall, getting comfortable to looking for where opportunities, where space might be differently. So I think this group is just developing to that.
Guys, we've got 4 more minutes and we're going to do 2 minutes Afrikaans with you at the end. So please just ask your English questions.
I was just going to say on that note, do you feel like your attacking game plan gets the respect it deserves? When everyone talks about the Springboks, they talk about the forward play and the physicality and the kicking, but do you feel like there's not enough credit given to what you're trying to do in attack?
Probably the same. How can I say that? That's probably your question beforehand about off-field stuff. That's where I think we must be aligned in terms of the team, where we know what the reality is and what the facts is, and that's what I mean when I say sometimes not all the facts are out there, and people form opinion. Even rugby, style of play. If you think in the World Cup final who scored out tries, if you think at Mapimpi who's scoring tries, if you think at Kurtley Arendse, I mean, he scored against France, he scored against, I think he's played 6 test matches and scored 6 tries. So, but that's the almost, if I can put it, the on-field facts that we know. And again, we can't control the narrative that gets put out there, that we are boring, we don't attack, we just kick, we just tackle. We can't control, and all the energy that you put into that, you're not going to change that narrative. That's a narrative people want to drive. As long as you are truthful on and off the field with the facts available, and you share it with the players, and the players know it, and they know what the truth is within us. That's all we can do. So yeah, if we will get respect, I don't know. But as long as we are comfortable what we are putting out there and what we're trying to achieve, and we are open and honest with each other as a group, players, management, staff members. We're happy.
Do you support your director of rugby putting videos on social media to help people understand what's going on? Do you support him doing that?
John, don't answer that. This is not a Rassie press conference.
I've got a team selection question.
Can you sort question over there? One more question there, and then Afrikaans, then we're done, guys. Thank you.
Only 2 recognised tight heads in the squad.
2 recognised?
Tight heads in the squad.
Okay, tight heads.
And do you have Wilco Low on speed dial, or is his Ox willing to cover if there's a pinch?
We've got 2. In the squad.
In the squad right now, there's
we've got 5 props.
5 props, but 2 tight heads.
2 tight heads. Yeah. I think Ox. Yes, I've been coaching Ox since SS Schools when he was 17 years old. So he can do a job for us there. But I think we're fortunate in terms of Springboks or SA Rugby is that obviously, Wilco Low, it's out of the test matches. It's out of the window, so he will not be able to play. But there is a couple of players that plays in the Northern Hemisphere going into France next year. The Depree brothers that's on speed dial. Raymond Roulet, lots of players that play in France. Dylan Leitz. That if we do pick up an injury, they are playing good rugby currently. They played for the Barbas now. Raymond and Dylan. There's always players, South African players that play here that we can get on speed dial if we hit a crisis. But it will be if we pick up something now, we will have to get somebody in from South Africa.
But just from a player's perspective, do you feel that an excellent performance on Saturday will be an accurate assessment of how you guys have come along this year, especially against what is a very good and but as Jacques has pointed out, an inconsistent England side?
Yeah, so I don't think you ever play a rugby game to lose, but it's as we said, it's before the World Cup here, so it's trying all these things and getting, as you said, consistency. And we're just excited as a team, and training's been going well, so we can't wait for the weekend.
Jacques, jy werk al 'n rukkie met CA. Hoe baie het as 'n kaptein gegroei vandat jy hom die eerste keer ontmoet het? Verlede week was dit 2 toetse verloor, Pieter Steffens geban, Rassie is geban. Hy's vir my great ambassadeur van die veld, hy speel goed. Hoe baie het hy vir jou gegroei vandat jy hom ontmoet het?
Nee, massive. Kyk, hy was altyd spesiaal, Hendrik. Eerste ek hom ontmoet het, was dit toe hy onder 19 was. Hy was altyd 'n spesiale. Hy het altyd charisma gehad. Jy weet, ek sê altyd daar's mense wat as hulle in 'n kamer inkom, dan sit jy regop. Jy weet, hy het net 'n presence. En hy het dit gehad al van 19. Hy was nie kaptein gewees nie. Ek dink Ricky Schreder was die kaptein gewees van daai onder 19 span, maar hy het definitief gegroei. En ek dink ja, ek dink die bokke altyd die druk wat ons kry, en ek praat nie van slegte druk nie, ek praat net van die expectations wat daar is van Suid-Afrika en die nasie om te perform. Ek dink